Sony is suing Tencent over Light of Mataram.
Okay, we need to all come to a consensus here on this title. Everyone says it different. Well, I'd say like
Well, I say Mataram. What do you say?
Motiram.
Motiram? I think you're wrong.
I might be. I'm not saying I'm not. I've seen someone said, I heard someone said Motrin the other day. I'm like, I think that's a medicine.
Light of Benadryl. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know how you pronounce it. All I know is I don't think Sony lawyers care.
Is this, well, someone's going to have to say it in the courtroom. So is this a word? We have to look around. Has this been said before by the company? Or is this a situation where no one said the word out loud and we're all just guessing? Like officially from them?
Well, I mean, I guess we will find out. I'm not sure how pertinent that info is, but
I mean, it's the title of the game.
Sure, but I don't know. I think it sounds like Mataram to me, but I'm also probably wrong. I'm like the last person to double. Oh, Ryan, how do you pronounce this? Well, don't look at me. Please don't look at me. I don't know.
This feels.
But they are doing it. They are suing them. Because if you remember, this game was announced late last year, and it looked a lot like Horizon. I mean, a lot like Horizon. And this filing, this lawsuit that was filed on July 25th in the California federal court system, exposed a lot. And that kind of like, this is like not abnormal, obviously. Like it gets announced, everyone's wondering why isn't Sony doing anything? Well, they have to build a case. So it seems like that's what they were doing for months up until recently on July 25th. So now it has been properly filed. They're asking for $150,000 per infringed work, which I would think is one, but I don't know. And immediately they want to halt the game's release. So the inside documents that were shared from Stephen Totillo from GameFile, we can see how Sony was building that case. So they were comparing all the marketing material, all the promotional material, getting down to things like the font, the artistic design, comparing the protagonist, showing off like screenshots from community reception, like comments from like the Steam page, headlines from the games industry. I mean, they've got like all these comparison shots to build the case. And Sony's also discussing, what it took to build the franchise, because from their point of view, it's infringing on their work and how long it took to build the notoriety of the Horizon franchise. And the real sort of smoking gun to this case is that I guess what happened is that the lawyers outlined that Tencent made a pitch to them last year where they wanted to do a Horizon game, which is not like atypical. So for those that don't know, like in the games business, people can like approach an existing IP holder and say, we would like to make an entry in your franchise. Here's our pitch. So they pitched a sort of like Aloy goes to the east, some sort of like Asia territory for Horizon. They had a whole thing that they built out, and Sony denied the pitch. And I guess this game was like already in development, and then they just, so there it is.
I mean, look at that. Come on, look at this thing.
It looks just like it. So John, wait. The gameplay, though, when you start seeing the gameplay, you're like, this actually looks kind of different, though.
I know it does look different. It does. It's kind of like Ark mixed in. It's like survival. Ark mixed in with Horizon a bit more. Like you're crafting, you have certain bars for hunger and stuff like that. So there is a bit more in terms of just gameplay mechanics that seem to me a bit exhaustive at times. Some of those games I'm just not as interested in because of that, but it definitely plays different with that in mind. However, you get a little too close with the likeness. Yeah, eventually we all looked at it and said it when they first showed the trailer. And if we all saw it and then they had approached Sony, it's so obvious. Like that. I don't know what you think is going to happen here,
Well, that's the thing. Like they all the shots they like compare, like they do look really, really similar when they prop them up right next to each other. But that's like the crazy thing is that they tried to basically make a Horizon game. They had some. I would think they had like this thing was pretty far along, and that was the pitch. And they showed like a playable build. And when Sony said no, they just thought, well, all right, we're going to take a few months to swap out some models and kind of announce this on our own.
That's basically what happened. I assume that once they said that, I said, oh, I don't really know how you fight this if you're Tencent. Although here's my thing. Can't they just sell this in places like China and it won't, like, will Sony be able to stop them anyway?
Well, that's where like, I don't even want to humor like the armchair analysis here.
Yeah.
obviously legal matters are incredibly layered and complex. I mean, what I can say as a fact is this was filed in the California federal court system. So
Right.
at the very minimum, they would prevent it here. I would think they have to chase it down however they reasonably can, based on territory, region, and there might be a downstream effect too of like, they're both very big companies. My thing is, I would assume Tencent would just want to settle this before it gets to that.
Isn't it awkward because they're partners in investing and stuff? It seems very strange for that to happen.
Yeah, I would think that's kind of what the next like path here is like, well, you would think they wouldn't file this to begin with if they reached out to them privately to maybe sort of sort this out, but we don't know what kind of conversations took place there. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're both invested in like FromSoft together.
Yeah,
there's so many things where they're connected to where I would feel almost, I don't know, offended if I would definitely be annoyed, but we know how Sony feels about Horizon. Yeah. We do.
Yeah. Not only do we know how they feel, we know how well it's sold.
Okay, this is another interesting part. Go ahead,
Ryan. In the documents filed. Now, the weird thing about Sony, though, is that they are very picky with when they give sales milestones. And these numbers are often like good. They're not like they're embarrassed by them or anything, but it's very rare that they like send out sales figures unless you have a studio breach or you file a lawsuit. So the last number we had for the Horizon franchise was April 2023. That was where it sold 32.7 million units of Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, and Call of the Mountain. Since then, though, we've had Forbidden West on PC, Zero Dawn Remastered on PS5 and PC, Lego Horizon Adventures, PS5, PC, and Switch, and the new total is 38 million. So not exactly a small number.
Lego Horizon's putting in work. Man.
I was gonna say I don't think that game's really doing that much.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure that game was pretty soft on sales. Zero Dawn Remastered probably did well.
Yeah. It's obvious that Horizon is a big franchise. I think we make fun of. I make fun of Sony sometimes because I feel like they've gone a little too all in on Horizon at times. Just kind of the way they talk about it and treat it. It's very clear it sells. I mean, 38 million is not. That's really. That's between
two games,
really.
Basically.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I know there's a VR game for it. Sure, there's a Lego game.
That didn't do shit.
No, it's really two games and those re-releases of those two games. So big franchise for Sony. I think it's funny because I still think it's the franchise's breakout moment might be with that multiplayer game if they pull it off.
I would agree. I think it'd be hard pressed for them to pull it off with that game. If we even see, like, here's the thing about that multiplayer game. Gosh, I mean, it's been in development since 2018, which is like, okay, that's around the time where we maybe should be hearing something about it. But the underlying context of this is this game has had to survive multiple portfolio cullings and milestone builds. And where we are now is Sony being incredibly careful on live service at this point because they've had a hard lesson on multiple cancellations and a complete failure. So I'm curious what the state of the game is even in right now, and if it's like even close to seeing like a reveal. You would think, but that's hard to say.
The craziest result would be that Herman Hulst greenlit, or not green light, but basically walked Concord to the finish line only to pull it back. But then we find out that months before that he canceled Horizon Online. That would be crazy.
I don't think Herman has it in his heart to do that.
No, I think I do believe that he truly thinks that Horizon could be a big live service experience game for them. Like I don't think he's willing to cancel it, or he'll just put it on the back burner and let them still work on it for a while. Just the way he feels about that franchise is very clear. Although I will say when the third one comes out, which I do think is going to be a big game for them, they'll probably do a remake for it for the PS6 or something. I still wouldn't mind seeing Guerrilla try something else after that. I feel like you get a nice trilogy there. There's a multiplayer game out there somewhere as well. Maybe see what Guerrilla can do after that.
No, I agree. I think they should be moving on after the third game.
Yeah. I mean, you can always come back to it later, if you want to do that 10 years later or something.
Nah, but that's the thing. That's what I like about PlayStation Studios is that they will do a franchise, build it up, make it this big thing, and then they move on to something else. Usually. unless you're Polyphony doing Gran Turismo for your entire goddamn life, or if you're Santa Monica and making God of War and something that apparently feels new but is still an existing IP. Who knows? Just usually they put stuff down.
Yeah.
I will add this for the sales number. I do know people tend to bring up that Horizon is typically a franchise that gets bundled in and with hardware. And that will count to the unit sales of the game. So there was a Horizon Zero Dawn bundle with PS4. There was a Forbidden West bundle with PS5 for a long time. And for a while, that was the only like PS5 console in 2022 you could reliably buy when the supply constraints were still going on. John, if you remember that, it was always the Forbidden West bundle on PS Direct. So no doubt that probably helps the numbers, although I think it's pretty clear that you see that bundle's been long gone now at this point. This franchise moved another, 5 million units. It does well. Yep. It does do well.
Yeah, I think to me, this just looks so obvious, this case. I'd be shocked if it ends up going on for anything. I kind of feel like this is going to get shut down pretty quick. If I had to guess.
I would think they want to settle. I would think yeah. But as for what the result of that's going to be, I mean, you think they're going to just straight up not put this game out?
That's a good question. I mean, here's the other thing. If this game has multiplayer components to it, this Motirum game, and we're just now talked about a multiplayer Horizon game that Sony might try to push out. So they might also look at this and go, wow, that could create some confusion for us or for customers if they see this and then that Horizon multiplayer game coming out at the same time or around the same time. And I mean, let's be real, you don't want people are making fun. You don't want like a knockoff or Temu branded Horizon out there when you're trying to sell the multiplayer one. So
yeah, well, see, there's that and the NCSoft one too. Yeah, they do have that NCSoft one. Probably actually looks much similar to this versus like whatever Guerrilla's doing in house. So
yep,
yeah, I think they want to make sure this thing is never sees the light of day.